All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk to you about the Bitcoin miners, and I want to do a special video. I have a chart comparing 10 of the Bitcoin miners' recent price action. So I want to share that with you guys and go through what that data shows us. I have a lot of other charts like this, and I try to measure these miners in as many different ways as I possibly can, but I think this one is very interesting, so I wanted to share it with everybody. We cover Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners quite a bit on this channel, so if you enjoy that content, please do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoy this video, please smash the like button. A little bit about myself. I have a background in accounting. I was a CPA, and I've been trading stocks on a retail basis for the last couple of decades. So the first thing I want to show you is just the big board, and I've narrowed it down to the 10 Bitcoin miners that I am covering on my chart. And I picked these 10 for a specific reason. All 10 of these were trading all year in 2021. Okay, so here's the 10 that we just looked at on the big board. I have a column labeled November high. This is the highest price that each one of these 10 stocks got to in the month of November, which is when Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 69,000. I've listed out the high that the stock got to and the date that they got there. For 3 of these Bitcoin miners, their November high was also their all-time high, and that is Marathon, Bitfarms, and Argo Blockchain. For the other 7, this was just a local high, and they did not reach their 52-week high in the month of November when Bitcoin topped out at its all-time high. That's going to be important to remember in a bit. So the first piece of analysis I did is this. How does each one of these stocks need to perform to get back to their November highs? So these are numbers that these stocks were just at 2 months ago. So the question is, if Bitcoin can rally and get back to its all-time high, can these stocks rally and get back to their November highs? And if they do, what would that performance look like? So here's the next column, and this is labeled increase to November high. So this is what each one of these stocks would have to do. This is the percent increase they would need to get from their current trading price, which was Friday, January 14th, 2022. It's a long 3-day weekend. This is the increase it would take to get from their price on Friday back to their November high price when Bitcoin was at its all-time high. So you'll see there's 2 that really stand out. Marathon would have to go up 191% from where it is right now in order to just get back to its November high, which was also its all-time high. CleanSpark is just a fraction behind it. It would have to go up 188% to get to its November high. But unlike Marathon, CleanSpark's November high was nowhere near its all-time high. So it needs a 188% increase just to get back to this local high. Then next we have HUT at 151%. Basically everybody on this list needs to somewhere between double and triple to get back to their November highs. Argo Blockchain needs to have a 92% increase, so that is the lowest one on the list. So even the worst out of these 10 is very nearly a double. As you guys hear me say that I think these stocks are undervalued, this is what I'm talking about. All of these stocks need to somewhere between double and triple just to get back to where they were 2 months ago. And for 7 of these 10 stocks, where they were 2 months ago when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, was not their 52-week high. Okay, so that's one of 3 data points that I analyze on this chart. The second thing I want to look at is the significant line of support for each one of these miners. Bitcoin had a bear run in September, and all of these miners pretty much bottomed out somewhere around September 29th. I took from each chart the line of support that we have been using to measure since the end of that bear market. And what I try to keep my eye on is where are these stocks right now in relation to that line of support? Because that line of support held up for most of these stocks for most of the time. However, they have now all broken below that line. Some are very close, while others are way below this line of support. So this is another data point I like to look at. This is how far below each one of these stocks is below its, what I consider its most relevant line of support. So you can see this varies greatly. These numbers are all in red because they are all now below their line of support. The closest one is DigiHost, which is just 1 penny below, so you could call that even and say it's right at its line of support. Bitfarms, same thing. Few cents off of its line of support, but it's basically right at its line of support. Hive is very close. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we have several of these that broke that line of support a while ago, and they're pretty dramatically underneath that line of support at this moment. So Cleanspark is 32.6% lower than its line of support from September 29th. Argo Blockchain is 37.3% lower. Riot is about 20% lower. So this is another price target type of a situation. Now, all of this really is more technical charting analysis. This is not analyzing the fundamentals of these companies. I do that in other charts using other metrics to go through and try and do a valuation based on the fundamentals of the company. This is more a technical analysis. So what this tells me is there's some of these stocks that need to have a huge run up just to get back to their line of support. And since Bitcoin right now is a little bit higher than it was on September 29th, I would expect all of these to be at or above this line of support. So this is another reason you'll see that I say all of these are oversold in my opinion. Because here we are 3.5 months later, from a significant line of support, Bitcoin is above that line of support, and all of these miners are either at it or below it, and some of them are substantially below it. So just with these two factors, you can start to see why Cleanspark is one of my top 3 positions. It's got 188% upside just to get to its November high. It's down 32.5% below its recent line of support. So for me, this is why I say this is the most oversold stock in my opinion. So don't just take this as what's going to happen, because there's a lot of other variables and factors. But this is one of my important charts that I look at. Okay, the last thing on this chart that I've listed their 52-week high for each one of these 10 miners. So at the beginning, we listed the November high, which was kind of the local high on the day Bitcoin hit its all-time high. However, remember, 7 of these 10 stocks, that local high was not their 52-week high. So I've listed the 52-week high for all 10 of these stocks. For the 7 that didn't peak in November, most of those peaked more in February and March on the very first bull run in Bitcoin, when there was money really pouring into Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. So given that these are a 52-week high, I do think they're a realistic price target at some point. Some more realistic than others, some are further away than others, and some of these companies' story has changed a little bit since these prices. There's been stock dilution, so that is a part of the reason that they're down. But really, if we go look at the market cap, these stocks are all down significantly when comparing market caps to what they were when they were at their 52-week high. So let's take a look at these results. Okay, so if we take it from the top, Marathon was already at its 52-week high in November. So it's the same 191% to its 52-week high as it is to its November high. Cleanspark was at $40.50 back, I believe, in January of last year. So that was just a year ago. So that is very close to a 400% increase from where its price is right now at $8.18. So again, I'm not saying these are all going to run straight to these numbers. This is just a third piece of technical analysis to look at and to put into its perspective in the big picture to try to determine which one of these stocks are in a buy zone and how much potential upside there may be ahead. So the ones that really jump out once we go to the 52-week high is, we went through Cleanspark, which was 395%, so that's almost a 4x. Bit Digital, stock ticker BTBT, that has to go up 427% to get to its 52-week high of $30.68, which it hit over the summer when they had a huge run-up, and this was actually more of a short squeeze than anything else. So this is a little bit of an outlier versus the rest of the companies. There was a short report put out on this company that said they were a fraud and they don't exist, so their stock plummeted so drastically, and it was shorted, that when they had an opportunity to prove out that they're a real company, I think this short squeezed up to a number that we may not see for a little while. But that was its 52-week high, so 427% to get to its 52-week high. Riot is another one that changes fairly dramatically. It's 123% to get back to its November high, but it's 284%, so that's almost a triple to get back to its 52-week high, which it hit in somewhere in February or March on the first run-up that Bitcoin had. So Riot, unlike Marathon, which actually well exceeded its highs from earlier in the year, Riot got nowhere near its 52-week high on this most recent run. So I think this is a very realistic price target. And again, it's hard to put time frames, whether you're talking about a year or 2 years or whatever the case may be. So obviously, please, none of this is financial advice. This is one set of data. So this needs to be put into perspective with everything else that you know and all the rest of your due diligence before you go making buying decisions. I'm just trying to show you some information that I don't really think is out there. I haven't seen anybody show this way. I'm sure there's plenty of other people looking at it this way. I just haven't seen anybody go through it. So I wanted to share this. DMG Blockchain, which is a Canadian company that is traded over the counter in the United States still. So this is another one, 629% to get back to its 52-week high. This had like a 3 or 4 day run in February where it just went to the moon. I'm not looking for it to run up 600% this year, but again, it's a piece of the puzzle that I think we should all understand. So Bitfarms, again, this is one of the three where its November high was its 52-week high. So it would be 105% to get back to its 52-week high. So this is actually one of the lowest ones on the list. And I will tell you guys, this is a big position for me because I think this stock has been undervalued from the beginning. I think their marketing team leaves a lot to be desired. And I think as their financial statements shape up, which I expect them to, I have high conviction in Bitfarm that it will take out its previous 52-week high by quite a bit. So again, not financial advice. That's my belief in Bitfarm. It's one of my big positions. DigiHost is another one of my big positions. So you'll see, and remember with DigiHost, all of these numbers are price adjusted for a 3-to-1 reverse stock split that they did in order to get on the NASDAQ. So this is stock split adjusted. Its 52-week high would be $14.52. So that would be a 263% increase from where it sits. Then lastly, Argo Blockchain, its November high was also its 52-week high. So that would be a 92% increase. I will tell you, out of the 10 of these stocks, Argo Blockchain is the one that I have the least conviction in, and that doesn't mean I don't think it's underpriced. I do. I think that all of these are underpriced at the moment. So this was a behind-the-scenes look at some of the information that I'm looking at and compiling as I try to make my decisions on which stocks to buy and when to buy them. So again, not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. But I haven't seen anybody really share this type of information, so I wanted to get it out there. I hope you guys appreciate it, and if you do so, please do us a favor and smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.